One. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Command Your Confidence. And today I'm joined by the Come On Man podcast. Hey, how's it going, buddy?
It's going great, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
rock on. I happen to check some of your content out on Instagram and everything and do some of your other stuff. And I'm like, well, this guy knows what he's talking about. So I'd like to invite him onto my show and everything. And, just get some killer game to like help guys out.
Yeah. Well, I like to think I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, right. No, I hear you.
Sounds good. It sounds good. No.
Yeah. So today we want to talk about like how to set yourself up for success with women, because I think in order to actually become good with women, you have to have, there's a lot of stuff that comes with it besides just learning the skill set. Wouldn't you agree with me on that?
There is. I think a lot of guys do get sort of analysis paralysis with it. Like they will get bogged down in like, studying the material and hiring coaches and watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. And then they'll never actually go out and test what they're learning. And so like really what I would say is like the best thing guys should be doing is actually going out and talking to women, testing stuff out,
Well, no, and I agree with you, because I think that's a problem like every guy has. They watch all this content, and I'll admit I was there at one point too. You watch all the content on YouTube, you read the books, that when you go out, you don't even take any action, and you're still like stuck where you're at, and you're with your mindset, and like as far as like the number of dates you're getting every week, and that can be really bad. And I think in order to do that, like you must challenge yourself to go out there and practice the material that you've learned, and that takes a lot of like being able to break out of your comfort zone to do that.
Oh, it definitely does. What I recommend to guys that, a lot of guys that end up following me are guys that are in similar position that I was in, which was, I was married. I was married for like 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got divorced. And so I found myself back on the dating circuit after having not practiced game in like 15 years,
Oh, wow, man. That sucks.
And so all of a sudden you're back out in the dating circuit and you're like, how did I do this back when I was in high school when I talked to girls? Like it just seemed like so effortless back then. But it's because you'd practice it. You'd go out and actually talk to girls and, try to get numbers, and, it was like what you did.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I mean, I really sucked at it. And then I ended up like, in a relationship for 4.5 years I probably shouldn't have been in. And then when I found myself back on the dating circuit again, the second time, that's when I really was like, I got to figure this out,
Right.
And one of the things that one of the material, one of the books that I read that I incorporate into like the things that I talk to guys is Dating Essentials for Men by Dr. Robert Glover.
Okay.
And he recommends doing what he calls a 12 for 12, which is you go on 12 dates with 12 different women in a 12-week period. And he's like, they could be fat, they could be ugly, they could be old. It doesn't matter. It's just practice. And so I was like, oh, that's actually a good idea. But what I found was I went on a lot of dates from dating apps, and a lot of dates from dating apps, you end up on catfish dates. And so,
yeah, no, I agree with you on that. And
yes.
Like it's funny that we're talking about this, and then go back to, but like a lot of the dates I've been getting are from dating apps, and one of the things I'm going to I'm going to do a 30-day challenge is to kind of get out there and try to get more dates from girls I meet in person, because I'm having so much success on the dating apps, but the quality of the girls I'm meeting is not this quite there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It can be hit or miss. There's a lot of lower quality women on dating apps, but there's good women on dating apps too. It's just they're few and far between.
Yeah.
But the lower quality women make excellent practice. And so, if you really want to hit it out of the park with like, a really hot woman that you're really clicking with, like you get there by practicing with some of these bridge trolls that you meet on the dating apps. Like that's how you do it. You practice the body language, you practice the banter, and then by the time you get on that date, it's muscle memory at that point when you're on a date with the chick that you want to go out with. So
no, and you make a valid point, because like the more you're going out there on the dates with the women, you're kind of practicing your skill set, how, the attitude you want to bring, just kind of escalating in a sexual manner when you want to flirt with her. And the more you do that, the more you're going to like be confident with doing that. And you're going to learn certain things along the way too. And that's what I've noticed. I tell you, when you can have that consistency of practice and stuff, like it's like fucking, like you said, muscle memory. It's like right there. You can just make it happen.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. But there is like you were saying that you are going to do a challenge where you're going to try to meet more women organically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's something that is really, man, almost like I don't know what to say, the best word for this, but it's like it's such an amazing feeling when you meet women organically and can close on that number and stuff.
Mhm.
It's just like because you're usually like most guys will get like approach anxiety of some kind. And just knowing that you can push through that anxiety, you go and talk to her, even if you get shot down, man, it's a good feeling. You're like, man, I did that. It's such a
Right.
confidence boosting, feeling.
Exactly. Well, the thing was though, I was doing that for a while. Like when I was working with this mentor back in 2019, like we did a lot. Kind of coached me on approaching girls during the day and everything. I originally wanted to take a get off the dating apps, but then like I was doing that while I was doing that, like I was still doing during COVID, I didn't really do too much of that. Then because there was nothing open, and I still got to go out when I went to the store and everything to practice. But then I got kind of caught up on the dating apps, and I kind of figured out my way to close on the dating apps. And, just the fact that I'm doing that, I'm doing less approaching in public places now. So that's why I set that 30-day challenge for myself.
Hmm. No, it's good though to set personal goals like that, and
Mhm.
that's really like what will break a lot of these guys that are having a hard time out of their shells is sort of treat all of this like a science experiment, and set specific goals like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try X for, 30 days is a great
Mhm.
example. I'm going to try this for 30 days and then I'm going to reevaluate the situation, and then really just collect that data. And when you look at it that way too, you're letting go all of attachment to outcome. Because that's where a lot of guys, I think, really just get distraught when it comes to dating is they have all this attachment to outcome. Like they're going to find their wife out there or
Right. Well,
whatever it is. And
uh,
it's like, you got to let
mhm.
that go, man. You got to let that go and just like let things sort of happen in the experience and
Mhm.
not try to make things happen.
Right, exactly. Well, and I think like, I'm guilty of this myself, but like I think a lot of guys want to they focus on the outcome rather than working on themselves because they want to. When they see a cute girl, they want to get her number. They're focused on making it perfect. So
Hmm.
that's because they're focused on that, they don't want to fuck up, and it keeps them from being authentic.
Yeah.
And I find when you are able to learn to let go of that, you can easily just be yourself, and you're not like screwing up an interaction. I'm sure you've had this experience too when you first started going out there talking to girls. Like you're like, oh God, I just want to get this girl's number. I want to go on a date. I want to get laid, and so I got to do it perfect. And then it kept
Yeah.
you from being perfect.
Yeah, yeah, before I started really studying this stuff and trying to get better with dating, man, like most guys, you go out there and when you're talking to women, it's like you're trying to make women like you. It's
Mhm.
like you're trying to qualify yourself to them like, "Hey, I'm such a great catch because of whatever." And when you turn the tables and you change your mindset about it, like I I want to see if I like her or not. Like, is she a good fit for my lifestyle? And you start getting having that mentality, like you start getting women that start qualifying themselves to you, which is really where you want to be. It's a much better position
Mhm.
to be in. You're not going out there trying to prove anything. And if chicks just you don't like them or whatever, it's like, okay, well, I'm not buying. I'm not buying what you're selling, lady. And
Right, exactly. Well, you got. I kind of look at it as though you go see, you want to have the girl's beautiful, yes, but you want to go talk to her to see what she's like. Because I mean, you want to see if she's responsive towards you. You want to see if she has personality, as well. And then you can kind of just feel out the situation and go from there. So that I mean that's another good way to look at it because like if you go in there with an authentic and confident vibe and you're putting yourself out there without giving a fuck and the girl's like responding positively and she's kind of engaged in the interaction, to me that's a sign I want to be who I am.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would agree with that. And the way I look at that sort of interaction too is that you really just want to go out there testing for interest, you know, and
Mhm.
just seeing if she's interested or not. And if she, you know, blows you off or whatever, like don't take it personally because she's just not interested. It's not on you. It's just she's not interested. It's like some people like pizza, you know, some people like pineapple on their pizza and some people don't. It's
Right. No,
it's,
that's
it's
true.
not a
But like,
personal attack. Yeah.
yeah, and I think like see a lot of people like that's one of the problems. So they become attached to that, and they got to learn to like let go of that. You got to learn not to give a damn what she doesn't like. I mean, because I mean, then again, you know the way I look at things. You don't want every single girl to like you because you won't even have the time or money to go out or the sexual energy to bang 100,000 girls. If you know what I'm talking
It's a
about.
good challenge though.
Yeah, no, yeah, it might be a good challenge to do, but you get my point though. Like it's just like I'm very you know, I told you I got a lot of things going on outside of dating, and so when it comes to my time, I value my time. So like, you know, and even with a girl right now, say we set up a date and she can't make it, to me that's like, well, great, I can focus on doing this. You know, so you know, I just kind of want to go out, you know, so that's why you got to have that don't give a fuck attitude because with other things, like I was talking about this on a show with Alpha Villains the other day, but you know, a lot of people guys who are not attracted towards women, that they just, I mean, who women find unattractive, like girls can sense that because the guy's like very needy all the time. He doesn't have anything else going on in his life outside of women and everything. His main focus is just to pick up women. And I think when a guy can learn how to, you know, do something and find, you know, work on himself and, you know, work on something that he's building towards, I think that shows attractive qualities. You're not 100% focused on women.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the reasons why like plate theory works so well. You know, when you have a rotation of women, you don't care. You don't care so much because you have all this abundance. But before you get there, because a lot that's where a lot of guys struggle, right? Is they struggle to get one date, let alone five, in a week. So at least to get to that point, you do have to have some kind of purpose outside of women that like that's one of the reasons why I started my podcast. Honestly, it gave me something to do. It gave me something to focus on outside of women. You know, if a chick like if I had a date with a chick and she flaked on me, it was like, oh, okay, well I've got podcast episodes to edit. I don't give a shit. Or I
Yeah,
had,
exactly.
I could, you know, do other things. There's things I like to do besides podcasting too. And I started developing all these hobbies and all sorts of stuff. So it was like, oh, great, you canceled. Perfect. Now I have more time to like go ride my motorcycle or something, you know?
Mhm.
So
Right.
as long as guys have more interesting things to do, then they'll do a lot better because they won't be needy. And then on top of that, the funny thing about that is not being needy and having all these like hobbies and stuff that you're into, that makes you more of an attractive guy in general too, because women like a guy that has a lot of stuff going on. They don't like a guy that's boring as hell. You know, my ex-girlfriend and I, we were out last night
Uh-huh.
celebrating her birthday, and and we were chatting about like back on the dating apps, you know, back before we met each other. And she was telling me that there was this one guy that she said she found herself being the one trying to push for dates and meeting in person because a lot of guys are just on the dating app. They just want to chat forever. And she was like,
Mhm.
there's this one guy who like, he just wanted to fix fences and stuff. And he's just, that's what he did for a living. And so she would say, so what did you do today? He's like, oh, I fixed fence over here. And, maybe I can come over to your house and look at your fence and whatever. And she was like, well, what do you do besides building fences? He's like, oh, I don't know. I think maybe tonight I'll have a beer and probably go to bed. And then, and then it's like, that's your life. You build fences, drink a beer and go to bed and do it all over again the next day. Like that's boring as hell. It's not
That
attractive.
does sound
Like
boring.
you need more stuff going on besides building fences, bro.
Right.
So
Sometimes though I find it though because I am a busy person, you know, and some not with all women, but some women, if I can't make the time for them right away, they just give up. And I tell them I got stuff going on, like and even I explained to them on the first date, like you know, I'm not looking to rush into anything serious because I got this going on in my life. 'Cause I do. I have like this podcasts I do. I'm a meetup event organizer. I like doing Latin dancing. I like creating art, playing music, and doing a whole bunch of other things outside of my job. So it's like I want to put that first, and I tell women that, like, when they ask about like what are you looking for, I'm like, and some women like then afterwards will just hit me up all the time, and I'm like, I can't talk right now. They think I'm not interested, but I told them I'm working on stuff, and I can't like text you at the moment. But I will text you back when I get time.
Yeah. Yeah, when it came to text game, one thing that I found is that everybody, men and women, are like largely addicted to texting. You get that dopamine rush when you send a message out and then someone responds back right away.
Mm-hmm.
And some people they're so addicted to texting that they get so focused on it. So when they send a message out and you don't reply back right away, like they get really upset by it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that problem myself, and I ended up breaking that habit by playing mirror game with women. Where if they didn't text me, what was that? It's where you match and mirror their effort, and
Okay.
then you go one notch lower, right? So let's say for instance, she sends you a 4-word sentence, right? You
Mm-hmm.
reply back with a 3-word sentence. If you if
Oh, okay. No,
if she, like, if it takes her an hour to get back to you, you take an hour and 13 minutes. Like, and you want to just sort of vary it so she's not spotting a pattern or anything, but you want to just be like match her effort and then go one notch lower. And what that ends up doing, really, I mean, it's like some people are like, I don't want to play games or whatever. First of all, games are fun. Second, it'll actually break your addiction to texting, which
Okay.
is an unhealthy addiction, and you'll actually find yourself being busy, being on your purpose, working on stuff that's actually important outside of women. And then, texting is really meant to be a non-real-time form of communication anyway. You're supposed to reply back when you have a chance. It's like email. And so you actually break that addiction, and you start having, more attractive, healthy texting patterns that way. So like when chicks are just super needy when it comes to texting, the way I do it is I just really slow down my replies. I just slow it down over time, and just, I don't say, hey, I'll get back to you in a minute, or I apologize. I don't even do that shit. It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
I'll take an hour to get back to him on purpose. Instead of replying back right away, I'll grab the timer app and set a timer. And when
Oh,
that goes off, I'll reply, and yeah, that just ends up being how you text normally anyway. And it's actually more attractive because women, you just come across as less needy when you do that.
mm-hmm.
So,
No, that's a good way of looking. Yeah, I know. And plus, you're not like stuck on the phone all the time too,
right.
which is good. I mean, that's an interesting concept. I mean, if I had the time to like, sometimes even when I'm working on something, I'll get a few messages, and I'll probably reply like maybe 15, 20 minutes later. I don't have to keep it too long, But I prefer, like, when I first meet someone, I like to get them on the phone because I like to have that authentic conversation. But definitely texting afterwards. It's because like you can tell more about it. When you first match with a girl and stuff, you don't really know them. You can get an idea of what they're like based off what they tell you. But when you have that like authentic phone conversation with them, to me that's always good because I can tell right then and there if it's going to be an interesting conversation first. Because like you really can't tell how the person's personality is going to be like if they actually talk to them. And I just want to make sure that there's actually like the lady has a good like vibe and energy to her, so I'm not wasting my time. Because I have met those girls online that I've gone out with before calling. Their vibe just dragged me down, and one girl just complaining about life and everything. They're sounding so happy in their text messages. It can get annoying sometimes.
Yeah. Because their roommates doing all the texting for them, and they suck in person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of phone calls. A lot of dating coaches, will always say, get her on the phone. You want to do that because you can spike her emotions or whatever. I just fucking hate talking to people on the phone. I don't even like talking to my own mom on the phone. So when I was out dating, I didn't do that. What I would do instead, though, which I think is the next best thing, is I would send voice messages.
Oh yeah, I do that a lot too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or video messages over text. It's probably the next best thing. Video messages are so powerful. I've just been posting a bunch of videos lately on TikTok about that, but a lot of guys aren't sending video messages, and that will like set you apart in the dating world. If you take like your phone, you record a quick message, you can actually sit there and record it a couple of times till you get it perfect too, which you can't do on the phone. You can do that on video and then send that to her, and you can send that over text. It'll go over as an MMS message. Man, chicks like eat that shit up, man, because
Right.
can I cuss on here? I apologize.
Oh yeah, well, I've been swearing a bit. So
Okay. Yeah.
Bombs, shit bombs, whatever. You're good.
Yeah, chicks love that though, because they can see your facial expressions, your body language. They can see what you look like, and like you just have all these faculties that you just can't express over text. It's just guys really need to do that more, and they're just not doing it. But
no, that's fun. No, I started doing that. Like I was, I was, I worked with Steve the Dean for a bit, and that's one of the things he always promoted is doing video and voice messages, and I slowly like implemented that into my text game. It makes, I guess, the text message, even though it's not a text, it makes messaging over the phone a lot more exciting than just texting. And like you'll get some girls I know will respond to that with voice messages and stuff, but you get some girls who just send text messages. I don't know why they don't want to leave voice messages.
Some of them don't know how to do it. And then I've also, I don't know if they fixed this, but it used to be, I would, if I was sending a voice message, because I'm an Android guy, I would send like a voice message from the text message app, and like, and the Android or the iPhone chicks would get the message, they could play it, but they couldn't do it back or whatever.
Right, exactly. Well, that's why I always, if I see that a girl does not have an iPhone, I always see if they have WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Stuff on there, and like so most of the time, I do it through there. It just, yeah, but that's just something I'd like to implement into my texting game, because I think it will help set yourself up for success with dating, because it makes you stand out from all the other guys out there.
Yeah, and that's the name of the game. You got to stand out.
Yeah, exactly. I was out on a date last night with someone who I met. I mean, it didn't go anywhere because, it was weird because we had a perfect, we did voice, a phone call, perfect. But then I met her in person. She had a BO and everything. I was just like, no, this ain't gonna work out. But anyway, she had told me that she screenshot my message that I sent her on the apps to her friend, because she liked the fact I was just very direct. I was said what straight to the point about wanting to meet for a drink. I straight to the point about setting up a day and a time for that. So she sent that to him because this is how you should text the girl, because I guess she was saying her guy friend was having a hard time doing that. So I think that's another important thing, is just being able to take initiative, because a lot of men, I mean, and I hear this from lots of women on these dating apps, because they're surprised that I actually set up the date, the time and place. Ask for a number, but a lot of men just want a message. Like this girl I was out with last night, all she was talking about was this guy's messaged me for 2 months before they even asked me out, and I'm tired of it.
Yeah, no, that is like the number one complaint from women, and that's what, like I was saying, my girlfriend and I were out last night talking about her experiences on the dating apps. This is the first time we've been dating for 2 years now. It's the first time I ever even got into that conversation, but. Yeah, she was saying that was the thing, and that was the one thing that really made me stand out for her. She's like, you flipped the dating app thing on its head, because with all these other guys, they're texting me for weeks and months and not getting to the point, and she's trying to push for dates because women want to get off the dating app. They want to meet you in person, and all these guys think that they have to build rapport by texting forever, and it's like, no, you do that stuff in person. You don't get to know people on the dating app. You get to know them in person. So I would, banter back and forth 10, 15 messages. Then I'd try to find a segue to set the date. And then I would never ask them what they wanted to do. I always had a plan. I always had a go-to. Guys need to have a go-to where they take women for first dates, right? I
have mine. I have a few go-to places.
Yeah. And so mine, so I live near Grand Junction, Colorado. My go-to was always the Feisty Pint in Grand Junction. So I'd say, so I would tell them, I'd say, when are you free to get together? And they would say, oh, Tuesday or Wednesday. I'd be like, okay, perfect. Wednesday night, meet me at the Feisty Pint, 7 p.m. And it's like, you don't ask them what they want to do. You have a plan in mind, and you just get so many more yeses when you do that, because nobody does that. Guys are just wasting everybody's time on the dating apps and then complaining about how dating apps suck. It's like, no, you suck at dating apps, bro.
Right.
So,
No, I hear you. But I do think though, like certain dating apps are better than others. Like,
ooh, yeah, what's your favorite?
they come and go in cycles. Because like for a while, Tinder was my go-to app, and now Tinder is like crap. And now it's just been like Bumble and Facebook dating have been good, but not. And then Hinge was good, but then now Hinge is like, but then it will reverse. The Bumble and Facebook dating will be like crap, and then the other two I get more matches. It's interesting how that all works.
Yeah. I mean, I live out in the middle of nowhere, so I had to be on like all the apps to sort of cast a wide net. So I've done all of them. And it was the same thing. It was like, okay, cool. Fishing is good on Tinder this week, and it sucks on whatever. And then the next week it would be better on Bumble or whatever. That's just the name of the game. There's a new dating app that just came out on Valentine's Day called Heartstring. Have you heard of it?
I have to look into that one. Is that a good one or?
Well, it's all video based.
Okay.
So there's no profile pictures. It's all just like, videos and stuff, almost like TikTok for dating.
Oh, really? So how does that? So have you set it up in profile on them? I'm kind of curious how that works.
I haven't used it myself yet, but I just interviewed the CEO of it, and it's just when he reached out to me about his app, I was like, this is amazing, because I tell guys, send video messages, it'll set you apart. So I was like, an entire app that's just video where you can really showcase your personality. And then like they have a pitch your friend feature where like you can send a link to your friend and they'll actually record a video and you can add it to your profile where they're like, hey, my friend's so awesome. This is why you should date him and all this stuff. It gives you that automatic social proof. It's like,
oh, okay, that's interesting.
So, and the CEO is really trying to create a dating app that solves problems, because everyone hates the dating app experience. And so he's like, I don't want to just be a gimmick dating app. I want to solve problems that, because he was on the dating apps himself, and he's like, this is bullshit. I'm going to make a better app.
So can you, what were some of the problems he was saying? 'Cause I'm pretty sure these are most of the complaints everyone has.
Oh yeah. Like, ghosting, women being too busy to text back. One of his things was he hates on Bumble that, you match with a chick and then like 24 hours goes by and you can't message them because they have to initiate, but they're so inundated that they don't have time to initiate, or they're not that interested anyway, or, whatever.
Right.
And, let's see what else. Catfishing that
catfishing. It's only happened twice for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just a part of the name of the game. I used to like to use catfishing dates as practice, but yeah, just that kind of stuff. So one of the things that he did, right, because women's dating experience on dating apps is totally different than men's. Like, we're trying to match with women, they're trying to filter out all the matches they have. And so they're trying to eliminate guys from the pool. And so what happens is they might be talking to like 20 dudes at once, and they can't get back to guys because they're so busy. They got so much in their inbox. So what he did to try to level the playing field is you can only talk to 3 people at a time.
Oh, okay.
And you both have to have each other, so you can match with each other. And then you both have to have each other in the message queue at the same time in order to even talk to each other. So, and then if, let's say, you have her in your top queue and she hasn't like added you to her message queue in a while, she will get a prompt saying, hey, Paul has you in the top of his queue. You might consider talking to him. Like he'll prompts women to like pay attention to their queue and stuff. So he's trying to solve these problems. He also says he has a solution for ghosting, but he didn't want to like divulge it on this podcast episode. So it's like it's really a fascinating concept. So I'm really trying to he's not paying me for it, but like it just says, like, I know how sucky dating apps are and how guys get so frustrated with it that I'm like, this could change the game if everyone gets on board with it. So I'm like spreading the word about it.
No, okay, so now we're on the date. We're talking about dating apps, and this is all about how to set yourself up for success with women.
Right.
What are some things that guys can do to increase their chances of success on the dating apps? Because I do agree with you, they are very difficult because women are getting a lot of matches. Like, when I talk to sometimes I will ask a woman how many matches she's gotten. She's like, she's gotten a lot, and they always complain how it's difficult to find someone. It's draining. They may some guys, may think they have a good profile picture, a good profile, yet they don't. You know what I'm saying? But so, what would you say would be some tips for guys that have success on the dating apps?
Yeah, dating apps. There's a method to the madness on the dating apps, and dating apps really comes down to 4 things: good quality pictures, a good bio, how you open with women, and how you close.
So how do you open normally? Are you more direct, straight to the point?
So one thing that I learned, I have lots of dating coach friends, but one is in particular, I went and hung out with him in Georgia, and he was putting on a clinic, like a retreat for men. So I went out there and hang out with him for that. And he put on a presentation where he had his wife set up a fake dating profile, and she was showing us what it was like from the female experience. Right. And this was like the biggest takeaway that we got out of that was that women don't look at your messages. They don't open up each message. They're looking at everybody's message in preview mode. So in their inbox, they're just looking at about the first 7 characters. So you have to capture a woman's attention in the first 7 words. So you have to capture her attention in the first 7 words of what you're saying. And a lot of guys are just saying, hey, beautiful, you look like trouble, just like dumb shit. Right. Or
right.
How's your day? How's your day going? You have beautiful eyes. Like stuff like that. Right. It's just, it doesn't stand out.
No,
it doesn't stand out. So you asked me what my go-to was. My go-to was I would look through her profile, and typically I would look at all of her pictures and try to just pick a picture and guess what she was thinking in the moment. And I would open with, hey, pick number 3. You look like you're thinking about, I don't know, purple unicorns, whatever. Right. And usually a statement will get more responses than a question. Because if you make a statement like that, hey, picture number 3, there was a chick I went out with and I said, picture number 3, you look like you're singing a song in that picture. And she was like, I wasn't singing, blah, blah, blah. Why do you think that? And it's like, boom, got her. Now I got a response. Now we can start a conversation. And you're really just trying to get a response going.
Right. My go-to thing is I would always, I copy and paste this. I just say hi. I do the how are you, but I say I'd like the positive vibe and sexy smile you got going on there in your photo, and I'd like to chat with you more and invite you out for a drink. Tell me one fun fact about yourself that you didn't mention in your profile.
Yeah, and that's been working out pretty well for you.
Yeah, it has. And I've kind of refined it every once in a while, changed it around, but no, that's a good thing too. Like you just mentioned, you look at like the photographs and everything, and that's another thing I used to. I make an assumption based off what's going on in the photograph. Like it looks like you're at a rock concert. Or compliment the dress or the style. Say this gives you this thing, makes it seem like you have this personality trait to you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you mix it up, but. Yeah, no, I found that's been the go-to one, and then they'll pretty much tell me the fun fact, and I can go, and then most of them will either not mention ask me what something I didn't mention, but if not, I just kind of mention it anyways, and I just say, well, I say that sounds interesting. How did you get it? I do the how did you get there? Or why did you do that? And I'll mention my fun fact, and I'll get a response again, and then I pretty much go for close. So I don't like to be on dating apps for too long. I like to just kind of maybe 3 or 4 messages before I go for a close. And if the girl doesn't want to give out her number right away, I just always suggest chatting on the video feature on the app and stuff. Because to me, I want to see if she's really down for meeting up. And like I said, most girls have had bad experiences with men on these dating apps because a lot of guys they get the number and they do crazy shit. So I'm understanding. I try not to think, well, she doesn't want to talk to me because she doesn't want to give out the number. I'll at least try like to do a video chat or a conversation on the app feature and everything. But I just kind of want to know, like I said, I got so much shit going on, and I'm talking to a lot of other girls at the same time. I want to only be the girls who are going to be worth my, who are going to show interest and going to want to talk. So that's kind of why I'm more forward with it.
Yeah, which makes sense. And there's a lot of guys that recommend doing, a FaceTime before a meetup because that eliminates catfish and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I would never do that. Because I like I said, I don't really mind doing the catfish dates because it was good practice. So I was just really about getting dates set up and meeting them in person. So I would actually close on the date on the app.
mm-hmm.
And then after they would agree to meet up, I'd say, you know what? I hate this thing. Can you send me your number? And then I would ask them to give me their number as another test of interest,
Mm-hmm.
and 9 times out of 10 chicks will give you their number on the app, there's a few that will be like, I don't want to give that out because they want to be able to ghost you easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how I would do it. I know dating coaches that are like, they go for the number on the app and then you close for the date, like over a phone, whatever works for you.
I mean, I have gotten some girls to say I don't get girls says, well, I don't get my number until I go meet the guy in person. So I've actually, on the app before, so they don't go. So I'm like, well, please, message me when you're headed out, and then I'll head on out just to kind of show that they're going to be there. I've never been ghosted. Like, I think when I didn't ask them to do that, I've been ghosted. So
yeah,
I've learned from my experiences there. But like when I've gone out with those dates, I show them just have good fucking energy and fun to be around. So I end up getting the numbers after that, which is kind of good.
Yeah, you bring up a good point about confirming dates. So there's basically 3 books that I studied on repeat when I was really trying to get good at dating. How to Be a 3% Man by Corey Wayne, Atomic Attraction by Christopher Canwell, and Dating Essentials for Men by Dr. Robert Glover. And in Corey Wayne's book, he says, don't confirm dates because it's needy behavior, which is bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. So there was this guy on YouTube named Dave Parada that I was following at the time too. And he recommended confirming for dates. He would say, shoot him a text the night before to confirm, because that'll give them, if they were going to flake on you, like they were going to flake anyways, not because you confirm. So he's like, that gives them an out to flake the night before. And then, you don't waste your time. And then like, maybe noon the day of, you could say something like that. Hey, text me when you're heading out.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's good. It's not needy. I don't know why
it's not needy. It's smart because there's so many guys that end up getting flaked on. And they'll get flaked on, or they'll get absolutely stood up, right? Like they'll show up to the date and she won't show up at all. Like that is the worst. Mm-hmm. And so then there's guys out there that are like, oh, well, make sure you're taking her out, where you would want to go anyway. And it's like, that's a cope, bro. Like no one wants their time wasted, and you won't get your time wasted if you confirm the night before. And like the best way to do it, like the night before without coming across needy as all, is to say something clever, like the night before, say, hey, I can't wait to see what you picked out to wear for me tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Right. That'll get a response. It's like, it sort of piques their interest too. They're like, oh, I got this really cute dress and whatever. And you're like, oh, well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. And then now, she's planning on going and you've confirmed the date. It's a great way of doing it.
Right. No, I always used to do, this is an automated text response to remind you that you have a date with me at 2 p.m. tomorrow at this place. Press C to confirm.
Oh, do you do that? Like your doctor's office?
Yeah, I did this. That was my creative. That's another creative way I do it, because it's like, I get to see him. Plus, you get laughs out of it.
Yeah. That's funny. Have you ever had a chick like cancel? I mean, the funny thing too is about flaky chicks and whatever. It's like you could do a lot of stuff to try to prevent it, right? Like you can close them at a high point and really get them, emotionally invested, blah, blah, blah. But no matter what you do, chicks are flaky as fuck. It's just something you have to deal with on the dating scene, and it's just how it is, man.
No, right. Like, I don't. I just think because, like I said, especially if you're meeting them off the dating apps, because like I said, they got talking to so many other guys, it makes it difficult. But like I said, before I used to get down on it, but like when you have shit going on in your life and stuff, and and you're confident that you can go out and meet other women, you're not really going to give a fuck. You're just going to say, okay, it's just a part of what happens when you're out doing this and everything. When you're out there setting up dates and stuff like that. So I mean, you learn a lot, along the way. And some of the things that I've learned too is right now I just don't have the time for a relationship. But like some of the stuff I've learned just by having casual sex with women and just going on dates is I'm kind of learning about what I want in a woman for a relationship and everything. So when it comes to that time, I kind of know when I met the girl that I kind of want to like hang out with more and give her more of my time.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a smart way of doing it. One thing too, I recommend that guys do, and a lot of guys don't do this, is write up a list of qualities that you want in a woman. Like really sit down and like write out a list of like, I want a woman that looks like this, that has this body type, that is really caring. Maybe she's very submissive. Like all these qualities that you want in a woman, and like review that list daily. Look at that list and look at those qualities, and like really imagine what this chick looks like, because what that does is it engages what's called your reticular activating system,
Mm-hmm.
and you start seeing all these types of chicks out there that meet all this criteria. And it's like, it's not magic, it's psychology. And you'll just start seeing all these chicks that fit, that check all your boxes, and you'll just have a much better dating experience, because you'll be dating more women that sort of you know fit in your box.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, that's true. No, it's weird. Like, I kind of, when I do some, self reflection as to what my mindset and where I'm at in my life, it's weird. I kind of like, I see that most of the girls that I meet kind of have those same qualities. Like, I've been dating a lot of, going out with a couple women who are entrepreneurs and have their own business and stuff, or into mindfulness and self growth and everything. It's weird. Like, I mean, you can see that those traits in the woman in yourself as well. 'Cause I think you kind of like draw that out there. You track that into your life based on your perception and where you are currently in your life. That's why I think it's important, like your mindset, the way you think about yourself, and just having a good life for yourself as in general as a man is important, because I mean, if you want to meet that high quality girl, whatever that means to you, you got to have that yourself. If you don't think of yourself that way, you're not going to, draw that type of person into your life.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. You sort of want to become relatively the type of person that you want to attract. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you want to attract a girl that's, I don't know, outgoing and exciting and stuff like that, you got to be an outgoing and exciting person.
Right, exactly. I believe that's just how it works. Like,
Hmm.
where you are in your life right now is the type of girl you're going to attract. That's why I try to be very self-aware of all that stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
things are perfect all the time, but you can't let yourself fall off. You gotta keep on pushing, pulling, and working on yourself and developing yourself to make that shit happen.
Yeah, and it's good that you have that self-awareness, because most guys don't.
Mhm.
Most guys just sort of like, most people, not just guys, but most people just tiptoe through life just hoping to safely make it to death. Like they just like everything just happens to them. They have no awareness of what's going on. Everything just life happens to them. but
Mhm.
but if you're more keenly aware of your situation, like you can make the right things happen. Like you can date intentionally. um yeah, it's just a much better place to be. It's a good mindset to have.
Right. I mean, and that's why I still continue to, work with mentors and everything, just to kind of help me stay there and become aware of that stuff. Because, because they just help me to be like, when you have that awareness of yourself, you can see like what judgments you have about yourself and others, what beliefs you have about yourself and others. When you become aware of that, you can kind of realize some of the negative ones and focus on making those more
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's a lot of work though. And I think, like I said, another thing, this last thing we're going to about being successful women, I think you got to be able to be persistent. You got to be proactive. I mean, you can't give up when things are going wrong. If you want to have success, you got to go out there and make it happen. You can't just sit around and expect it to come to you. And you can't quit if things aren't going your way. You got to continue to move forward. And there have been plenty of times where I got fucking frustrated as hell when it came to dating, this whole dating world, but you just got to keep on going.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of guys out there that get so frustrated with dating that they decide, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to give up. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to just, work on my money and work on my muscles. Uh, and in my frame. Oh, but it's mostly like most of these guys are like, I'm just gonna hit the gym, bro. And it's like, yeah, that's all that stuff's great. Like that will absolutely help you out there. But if you're not also talking to women at the same time and working on the game part, you're once you get to be buff and rich, like you're gonna still suck with women because you won't know how to talk to them. You haven't practiced. Like
Right, exactly.
so
Well, see, there's some dating coaches out there who teach guys that they got to have money and muscles in order to get women. And their guys, when they hear that stuff, they believe that they can't have women until they have all that, and they
yeah,
fail to realize that you still got to work on your game, and you have
right.
to socialize with women to make stuff happen. Like,
Yeah, I don't tell guys that. I mean, I do tell guys to hit the gym because I mean,
yeah,
guys,
nothing wrong with
honest,
that.
no, actually, they really should do that because like guys that are just morbidly obese, like you're gonna have a hard time out there. You just are. Like you might be a funny guy and you might be able to like pick up women in person better than on dating apps, but you're still gonna have an uphill battle because at the end of the day, chicks do want a guy that's at least in some kind of shape. And yeah, I know rounds of shape, but that's not the kind of shape you want to be in. So,
But I know what you're saying.
so like but I tell guys like, look, you don't have to have the six pack abs though. You just have to be better looking than the other guys that you're in competition with. And if you look on dating apps, like out here, right? I live out in the middle of nowhere. I live out in ranch country. Dude, there's a lot
That's
of
exciting.
yeah, it's fun, but there's a lot of fat fucking guys out here.
Mhm.
There's if I go on the dating apps and look at the male profiles on here, they all are like country bumpkins with chew in their mouth. They let themselves go. They don't have any kind of like fashion sense. It's like I just have to be better looking than these guys, and I'm just gonna fucking clean up on these dating apps. You just
Mhm.
have to be better looking than the next guy. You don't have to be like super ripped and rich and stuff. So yeah, a
Mhm.
lot of guys like just are looking for excuses to quit. And it's like, look, you know what? Even the best of the best get frustrated with dating. Like everyone I know, like I know some really good guys that are solid players, and even they will just be like, dude, this is getting to be a fucking grind. So it's like, you know
It
what?
is. It does.
Yeah, it's like you know what? There's nothing wrong too with just taking a couple of weeks off from dating and just do other stuff. Just get your mind off it for a little bit. Once you clear your head after 2 or 3 weeks, get back into the game. But don't quit completely. Like that's just
Right, exactly. No, and I think
yeah,
that's a good thing. You mentioned a good point, like, because it can get like frustrating. I mean, even if you're having success, like, and I've realized this, a lot so far this year, just because I've been going out on more dates and talking to more girls this year, that it's been exhausting for me, and it's just like I look at it as like something I have to do. Like I'm like, oh man, I got to do this, just
yeah,
do it. And it was weird because the other night I was thinking about something like, man, for the past like weekends, yeah, I've been seeing my friends, going out with my friends, but I've been kind of going on more dates and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know, I gotta take some. I think I need to take a little bit of a break from that because it's getting exhausting. And I think like there's some other like I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. I'm in Arizona right now, and I have some friends that I used to keep up with that back home, and I haven't kept up with them yet because I've been busy dating. I'm like I gotta kind of take a break. Maybe I should take a little break because I'm getting kind of burnt out from this, and I just kind of want to get more in tune with myself for a bit, then get back into it. And I think that's why I said to myself too, like I wanted to do my 30-day challenge because like okay, I've already like so like I've already had like a lot of dates so far off the dating apps, and yeah, I've had a few fun dates here and there, but I'm not meeting the type of girls that I want. So I'm gonna go out and do my 30-day challenge and make shit happen. Just focus more on growing my social game.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Like I said before, like that's a really great goal to have, and set those types of goals. And if you're not getting the results on on dating apps, like you have something needs to change. you know, either you need to fix your profile, or you need to do something different. Do some social
Right,
circle
exactly.
game or
That's
something.
what I learned. Like like I hired a photographer to do my photographs, but I mixed it in with other photographs because I don't want it to come up, my profile to come off as fake, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So definitely I mix it up. Some girls are like, well, I'm glad you had some normal photos in there, because at first with the fancy photographs, I thought you were a fake profile. So I had to kind of
Yeah.
do that. But yeah, no, it's just like, it's fun. Like, just kind of it's been fun once you can kind of master the art of picking up girls online and stuff. But I think there's, like like you said, yeah, there's you can meet some high quality girls out there. Yeah, but it's just like you got to go through a lot of rotten tomatoes and eggs, just whatever you want to call it, just to find the right ones.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all a grind, man. Like I just did a live stream on Friday morning about it. There's basically 4 ways to meet women, right? You have your cold approach, you have social media. I don't know if you've tried social media. We can talk about that for a little bit, because
Oh, okay, yeah,
that's actually a pretty great way to meet women.
never heard
Uh
of that. Yeah.
there's social circle, and then there's dating apps, right? Those are basically the 4 ways. And there's pros and cons to each. And really there's no, like, I don't look at it like, oh, this is the best way. It's like whatever works for you is the best way.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like going to the social media. So I have a friend that's a dating coach, and he just sort of developed this strategy in Atlanta,
Okay.
Georgia, and he ended up building just massive abundance with it, right? But it's a total grind, because what you have to do on it is you basically go through every day. You can add a max of 30 friends on Facebook, and he did it all on Facebook, but you can do this on Instagram too. But you can only add a max of 30 people a day as friends, like, so send friend requests.
Okay.
And what you want to do is you want to go through these girls' profiles and sort of look for signals that they're single, right? Like, usually maybe they'll have that, marked that they're single on their profile. Some of them don't.
Right, exactly.
But you look for pictures of her with boyfriends or whatever. If she doesn't, add her as a friend, right? And then, so you do that every day. You add 30 girls every day. You start building up a pool. And out of those 30, you might get like 15 that add you back as friends. And then, so you wait like a week after you add them, and then you reach out to them on DMs with a video message, And so you go, oh, hey, Cindy, this is Paul, your random Facebook friend. I saw you on my feed. I just thought I'd say hi, right? Just like not sexual, not like, hey, you're cute or whatever. It's just your random Facebook friend. And out of those messages that you send out, you might get 3 that reply back. It's like a sort of like a sales funnel that you're building up. And you just do this on a daily basis, right? You're adding chicks, you're sending video messages, but eventually you have like so many more prospects. And he swears it's much better than dating apps, but to me, it's too much of a grind to sit there and do all that shit. So that's why I like dating apps, is because you at least know there's mutual interest on there, and you can be a little more passive with your dating. But
Now,
teach their own.
now on the dating apps, so do you think they toy around with the algorithm on the dating apps?
Oh, they absolutely do. Yeah. Yeah, you're fighting an algorithm on dating apps. It's pretty messed up. That's one of the, and they're really trying to get you to buy the premium version of the dating apps. So it's really like there's all these little hooks and shit that they're doing to try to get you to buy the premium version. And for me, I actually felt like getting the premium version was a better option. It was actually worth the investment, so that you could be a little more passive on dating apps and sort of date like women do. Where like you can wait till chicks swipe on you, and then you can look to see if you like her or not. like for me, it just was worth the money to not have to be like so invested in swiping on things all the time, you know?
Right.
And, but yeah, I mean, a lot of guys don't want to pay that kind of money. And so then they have a worse experience, but it's like, well,
Mhm.
they're charging money for a reason, you know?
Exactly. But see, this is my theory though, but I think dating apps, they don't want you to find the matches because they match you with, low quality girls so that you continue on paying them because they'll lose money if you.
Yeah, yeah. You know, Rollo Tomasi has a theory about that dating apps are really just trying to create a churn, right? Because they want returning customers.
Right.
And if you meet a girl on a dating app and you get off the dating app and then you run off and get married and you never get on a dating app again, then they're losing customers that way. So they sort of want you to keep coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Well, because I mean, come on, like I mean, I do. Right, I'm a web designer and digital marketer, and as a way to get recurring payments, I offer websites that serve as SEO stuff. Because I
mhm.
keep on doing it because I want to continue to get that. So like, that's just where I was talking with my roommate about that too. We were like, because he gets a lot of matches on there, but we always saying, well, they just match with the low quality girls who don't want you to give up on paying for the premium services because once they lose you, once you find someone, you're not going to be a returning customer until you meet someone again.
Yeah.
Until you, I mean, right, get out of a relationship.
Yeah. And honestly, you know, like we're all competing for the same chicks, right? Like, so like the hot chicks are going to just be swarmed with like all the dudes and they have their pick of the litter. So I don't think hot chicks are on dating apps. They're all on dating apps. Like all these chicks are on dating apps, especially after COVID. Everyone's on dating apps.
Mm-hmm.
But the hot chicks will find dates and get off the dating apps much quicker than the uglier chicks. You know, like the
Mm-hmm.
really portly, disgusting women that you find on dating apps, like they're on there forever. You
Right,
know, they're not
exactly.
getting off the dating app. No one wants that. But
But also, like, wouldn't you think that like maybe half of the profiles for women on there are fake profiles just to make it look
oh,
like.
there's tons of fake profiles. Yeah, like you have to if you really want to get good at dating apps too, you got to be good at spotting the scammers, spotting the catfish, you know, spotting the fake accounts. And it ends up being pretty easy to do. You can tell when a profile is like totally fake, you know.
Right. Yeah, I noticed on Tinder a lot of the profiles a lot of them I think are just like spammy ones because they say follow me on Instagram and
Yep.
everything.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. Those ones are easy to get rid of. They're all just on there for marketing, right? Trying to build followers, get you to go to their OnlyFans.
mhm.
It's like I report those bitches, you know, like fuck you. Like I'm like people should be on these dating apps for matching with people, not for like building a following.
Right,
It's
and I
you
think
know,
it's really gotten worse on Tinder because I've noticed that
yeah,
I match with a lot of spammy with the Instagram or Snapchat.
yeah,
And yeah, I report those girls too, like 'cause that's ridiculous. 'Cause I think it's ruining like the dating app experience for the guy who's
it
actually trying to
is.
get out there and have a date.
Yeah, the men are on there. Look, like I said before, men are on there looking for matches. Like we're looking for a connection. You know, we're not looking to follow Instagram chicks. Like I can go on Instagram and follow half these bitches on there. You know, like that's not what I'm on
Right,
the dating app.
exactly.
I'm here on the dating app to meet a girl in person, like a real person in real life. You know,
Right,
so yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That's how you do it.
I have zero tolerance for that. I will report them.
Yeah, no, it is a good idea. Yeah, I know. It's like, hey, you're ruining. I'm reporting you.
Yeah, yeah, they're ruining it for guys. So
All
yeah, man.
right. Well, hey, man, hour's almost up, and before I go, Sean, I just want to thank you for coming on the channel, and I would definitely like to invite you to come on like next month and do another podcast. I really thought we had a lot of great stuff to talk about, and yeah, let my viewers know where they can find you and everything.
Yeah, well, you got my handle here for Instagram and YouTube. You can follow me at Come On Man Podcast on those platforms. I'm at Come On Man Pod on Twitter. Otherwise, yeah, you can subscribe to my podcast. I'm on all the best podcast platforms out there, including YouTube. I have episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On Wednesday and Fridays, I go live at 10 a.m. Eastern time on YouTube. And then, you can listen to the replays on Spotify or whatever after that. But other than
Mhm.
that, I'm really trying to build up those lives, because I just started doing that in January. So I really want people to start going to those at 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Right. No, I hear you. No, like that's something I got to do more consistently. 'Cause I don't have I do like every once in a while I'll do a podcast, and I was doing it consistently for a while during my lives, and I was getting more I was getting actually a lot more viewers. But then I got caught up doing stuff, and I'm just getting back into it myself. So it's a lot of work, but I like the way you do it is you just got to the same when it comes to meeting girls, you got to be persistent with it.
Yeah.
When something's not working, you got to figure out how to refine it and everything.
Yeah, when I first started my podcast, that was like the number one advice like all these podcasters would give is you got to be consistent. Like pick a day and no matter what, like drop an episode. So I was like, well, the only way I can do that without getting burned out is if I put it all in the can. So like all my Monday episodes are all pre-recorded. We talked about that offline.
Right, exactly. No, I do that. I'm actually going to do a pre-recording video. I'm going to do a recording later today where I'm going to talk. It's funny because I'm going to talk about why dating apps are bad. Then I'm going to throw in my 30-day no dating app challenge, which is going to be starting next.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds great.
From there. Yeah, man. I hope that. Thanks for coming on, everyone. Yeah, you can follow me at go to @ComeOnManPodcast on Instagram, and then you can subscribe. You don't need to go. You're already on my channel if you're watching this. Be sure to check out Come On Man's channel, and yeah, we'll be back on again next month. And then again, be sure to give this video a like and share it to other people. Yeah, rock and roll. We'll catch you next time.